Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Well, according to PTI reports, DMK President M. Karunanidhi, who launched the party's poll campaign on the 23rd of March from his home turf Thiruvarur, will start his next round of campaigning from the 30th of March and round it off at his constituency on the 11th of April. According to his campaign schedule released by DMK headquarters, the 87-year-old leader will tour various cities, including Madurai, Coimbatore and Chennai. He will visit neighbouring Puducherry on the 9th of April as well. And the ghost of the 2G scam is continuing to haunt the ruling DMK wherever it goes. The dotted lines have spread far and wide with an effect on almost all sections. Now, popular social activist Traffic Ramaswamy is going to contest against the Chief Minister. He says he wants to explain the 2G scam and highlight the issue of corruption in this rural constituency.
His public interest litigations have been a nightmare for rulers in Tamil Nadu. This social activist, Traffic Ramaswamy, is now taking on Chief Minister Karunanidhi politically as an independent candidate. His agenda to explain the 2G spectrum scam to rural voters.
I am going to expose this matter mainly in my election campaign.
The DMK says this is just a publicity stunt and that the activist may not even retain his deposit. Clearly, the shadow of 2G is refusing to disappear even after Karunanidhi moved out of his bastion Chennai, fearing the alleged scam could make a dent in his urban vote bank. With Chandran at Thiruvarur in Chennai, Sam Daniel, Find the TV.
Well, there are a few surprise candidates this year and round, and welcome a new entrant, My Neta. Talk about politics on your fingertips. This advanced SMS option helps you do just that.
Want to know who is contesting in your constituency? Who is opposing whom? And do any of them have criminal records? And what assets do they own? Get your answers by just sending an SMS.
Our ADR, if you SMS 56070, My Neta and the PIN code, then you will get details about the criminal records and financial records of the candidates who are standing in that particular constituency.
All you have to do is type My Neta, leave a space and type the name of your constituency or PIN code to get your answers. The brainchild of Association of Democratic Reforms, or ADR, aims to give information and offers a more transparent scrutiny of candidates.
Yeah, I think definitely for the people who are neutral, or at least don't go by the parties and by the way their friends or some influential people tell them.
So if you know the criminal records, the assets, the things which they did, yeah, you can figure it out who is good for the post and also. I think it's really good.
With practically everyone having a cell phone, this facility is expected to be a hit this year. But the jury is still out on whether voters will go beyond the habit of looking at party symbols and casting their votes. In Chennai, Pratiksha Ramkumar for NDTV Hindu.
Moving on to some national news now. While fresh arrests have been made in the scam that puts the lives of thousands of air passengers at risk. 4 people, including a senior DGCA official and a pilot, have been arrested by the Delhi police in connection with the fake pilot scam. The arrested DGCA official has been identified as Pradeep Kumar, who was Assistant Director in charge of licensing till January. This is the first time that an official of the aviation regulator, the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, has been arrested in the scam. Other arrests include a pilot and 2 touts. With these arrests, the total arrests so far in the scam is now 8. Several pilots have been arrested in the last few days for obtaining flying licenses by either using fake documents or forging the necessary flying hours required to get a license. Around 4,000 pilot licenses are now being scrutinized by the DGCA. Moving on, how serious is BJP in backing the Hindu nationalism? Is it the party's fundamentals or just an issue to attract votes? WikiLeaks has released a cable of the 2005 US envoy to India, Robert Blake, in which he says the senior BJP leader Arun Jaitley told him that the Hindu nationalism was an opportunistic issue that will always be a talking point for the BJP. But Jaitley issued a statement this evening denying that claim. Jaitley says, and I quote, "The cable rejects my views on cross-border terrorism, illegal infiltration from Bangladesh and the unfair denial of US visa to the Gujarat Chief Minister." However, the use of the word opportunistic is in reference to nationalism or Hindu nationalism is neither my view nor my language. It could be the diplomat's own usage, unquote. And on to some news from the international turf, where Libya's Gaddafi says over 100 civilians have been killed in the coalition fire and about 500 injured so far. But the United States has denied that, saying that no civilians have been killed. The Libyan officials took foreign journalists to a house perpetually hit by coalition missiles during a raid on Wednesday night as proof that civilians are becoming victims of the coalition bombing against Gaddafi's forces. US and British officials insisted civilians have been spared and retort that the Libyan leader has engineered his own atrocities. Moving on to news from Japan, while its nuclear crisis after the devastating earthquake and tsunami seems far from over, officials say the levels of radioactive iodine in the sea near the Fukushima nuclear plant are over 1,000 times higher than the safe limit. It is feared the radiation could be seeping into groundwater from one of the reactors, so fresh water will now be used to cool the damaged reactors rather than sea water. The Japanese Prime Minister said that the situation was very unpredictable. We'll slip into a very short break now. We have more news and updates when we come back.